To fans of the Phoenix Suns and die-hard fans of the NBA, Devin Booker is a player that had been viewed as a potentially great talent in his first season with the Suns. But his 70-point performance in Boston last year and the amazing ease he is showing in regularly dropping 30 points this season has put Booker on everyone's radar now. And after his 46-point performance against Philadelphia and the 38-point performance against Boston, two of the most watched teams in the league, people are starting to ask just how good is Devin Booker? Is this the next great shooting guard in the NBA? And due to a few peculiar similarities, people are beginning to wonder if this Phoenix Sun is the next Kobe Bryant. This video will attempt to answer all of these questions, as well as providing a background history to one of the NBA's best young players. Devin Booker's youth and rise to being a fantastic basketball player has been extensively covered due to being the son of Melvin Booker, a former NBA player himself. Melvin had only played a few seasons in the NBA, and played most of his professional basketball overseas, but Melvin's real fame came from his 4-year stint at Missouri, where he was an All-American and the Big 8 Player of the Year in 1994. So when Devin showed promise at basketball, the spotlight shone brightly on him from many different areas. Booker was raised in Michigan, predominantly by his mother at first, as his father traversed around the world playing professional basketball. Although he would visit his father frequently in the summer, and here Devin would begin to grow his love for the game. And his dad wanted to ensure that he raised his son correctly, and preached to Booker that basketball and IQ and hard work were just as important as athleticism. And Devin would have plenty of athleticism, as he would grow to 6'6" and be one of the quicker and springier guards in the league, who seemingly has limitless energy. This athletic gift would allow Booker to dominate his sophomore year of high school basketball. Devin had moved to Mississippi to be with his father and would play for the Moss Point High School, where his dad was the coach. In this first season, he would go on to average 22.8 points a game and be named the South Mississippi Player of the Year, the first and only time a sophomore has ever won this award. By the end of his junior year, Booker would have full scholarship offers from nearly every single major college program in the country, and it was easy to see why, as the talented guard averaged 30 points a game in his senior year and looked set to play 1 year of college and jump to the NBA. And like many others, Booker would spend this 1 year at Kentucky under John Calipari, for a school that had become renowned for developing NBA-ready talent. But Booker would play a humbling role in his only year in college, on one of the most stacked teams of all time. He would come off the bench in every game and wouldn't be featured heavily in the offense, but would still manage to score 10 points a game and shoot over 40% from 3. Following this odd college season, many were divided on Devin Booker. Some thought he could be great in the NBA, whilst others thought that if he couldn't feature on his college team, how could he do so for an NBA one? The Phoenix Suns would eventually take him 13th, and their GM Ryan McDonough would state that while some believed that players that had been limited in college could be risky to take, he thought Booker was the opposite of that. And his bet would pay off, as Devin Booker has exploded into one of the best players in his draft, and has far surpassed his original draft slot of 13th. In an incredibly interesting alternate reality, if the Suns hadn't have drafted him, it was rumoured that OKC had been heavily interested in Booker, and the NBA could have been completely different today if a rookie Booker developed onto the team with Westbrook and Durant. But enough what ifs. Devin was with the Phoenix Suns, and he arrived to a team that was struggling with identity issues. They had recently made the playoffs with Eric Bledsoe and a 48-win season, and were stuck on the awkward treadmill of rebuilding or trying to make the playoffs. But with the arrival of Booker, it would signify the beginning of a tank that would last a few seasons, as the Suns tried to become great for the first time since the Steve Nash era. And Devin would start his rookie season with very limited minutes, and came off the bench as he adjusted to the NBA. He showed some flashes of this enormous potential when he got minutes, and as the Suns lost more and more games, they begged for their coach to unleash Booker in the starting lineup. And this day would come just 3 days before the new year, and Booker wouldn't look back, averaging 18 points a game when starting in his rookie season. And whilst his shooting percentages were pretty bad, the eye test was exceptional, as Booker was an incredibly talented kid that could rise up and get his shot off over almost anybody in the league. In his second year in the NBA, Booker would continue with this momentum, as he improved to average 22 points and 3 assists a game on a terrible Phoenix Suns team. Many dismissed Booker though, and looked at his shooting splits of 42.3% from the field and 36.3% from 3, and would say that he was an inefficient chucker that could never win. But fans in Phoenix knew from watching that they had a kid with a relentless work ethic, a will to win, and an incredible skill set. And this has truly shown this season, as he's averaging 24.3 points and 4.2 assists a game on 45.3% shooting from the field and 38.3% from deep, on even more shots than last season. And for the first time in Booker's career, these stats are actually turning into wins. Since the horrible 0-3 start to the year under Earl Watson, the Suns and Booker have gone 9-3. Now this record isn't fantastic, but it shows signs of improvement, and a lot of these wins have come from Booker simply willing his team to the victory, draining tough shots, driving into the paint, and simply making shot after shot deep in the fourth quarter. And I think this is where the Kobe Bryant members are coming from. Everyone loves to compare young talents to the greats, and ask if someone is the next Jordan, if Ben Simmons is the next LeBron, or who is going to be the next Kobe. And for the most part, these comparisons aren't useful in analysing basketball, but they can be fun. And there are some truly weird coincidences in Booker and Bryant's career. Both were born to fathers who had played in the NBA, both were drafted 13th, and both have been hailed as inefficient chuckers over the course of their career. But most importantly, both were and are exceptionally gifted scorers, being able to put the ball in the basket in a variety of different ways. Now, in no way am I saying that I think Booker will become as good as Kobe. I am simply saying that he has the potential to be the next great shooting guard in the NBA. He has already scored a ridiculous amount of points for his young age, and recently became the 4th youngest player in league history to score 3,000 points, taking the place from none other than Kobe Bryant. And this will always be Booker's main skill in the league, scoring and shooting. He has one of the nicest looking 3-point and shooting strokes I've ever seen. It is incredibly fast and compact, meaning that there isn't much that can change or go wrong in his shooting motion every time he rises up for a shot. And he can shoot from simply anywhere on the court. I don't think there is a space in the half court that I haven't seen Devin shoot from. And this is where I think people see Kobe and Booker. He isn't afraid to rise up over someone and shoot it in their face. And he backs himself to spin in the paint and fade away for a close range jumper. These are all moves we've seen thousands of times from both Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and you can guarantee Booker saw them in his childhood as well. But not only is Booker a talented shooter, he's impressed me with his ability to finish tough shots at the rim and through contact as well. And alongside his incredible footwork, this makes him incredibly hard to guard. And the more Booker develops, the more he will demand heavy defensive attention on the court every single trip down. And this is the incredible thing. Devin Booker has just only turned 21. He is still so young and has so much time to develop even more on offense. I can't imagine what the final product will be like for Booker, but seasons with 30-point per game averages aren't out of the realm of possibility. And even if Booker only averaged 25 points a game for the rest of his prime, that would put him at around 26,000 total points at the age of 31, assuming that he doesn't miss a game. Devin Booker truly has the potential to end up as one of the highest scoring players in the history of the NBA. But if he wants to be considered alongside the best of the greatest NBA players of all time, he will need to become more than just a scorer. Booker will need to fine-tune his defensive game and unlock the potential he has on that end to become at least an average defensive player. If he does this, it will aid Phoenix in consistently winning and making the playoffs year after year. And if the core of Josh Jackson, Dragan Bender, TJ Warren, and Booker all continue their development, then Booker will be in the playoffs a lot. And he'll be asked to shoulder a lot of the scoring load, as Josh Jackson and Dragan Bender both project as great defensive players who can score just a little bit. And the playoffs is where Booker will attempt to etch his name into NBA history. If he can take Phoenix back to the finals and potentially win a ring at some point, he would instantly become an NBA and Phoenix legend, as the Suns have never won a championship and came so close in both the Barkley and Nash eras. I truly think Booker has this potential. The way he wheels his teams to wins in some games at such an incredibly early age shows a focus and clutch ability that is crucial to winning in the playoffs. I'm incredibly excited to see the entirety of Devin Booker's career unfold, and if he becomes even half as successful as Kobe Bryant, Phoenix fans will rejoice. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA videos in the future, and leave a comment down below of what you think of Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns.